Capacity to understand, the capacity to discern and see the difference, the capacity to feel what we are feeling. So sometimes we choose the image over the experience. Let me break this down for you, and I hope it's valuable. When I remember something that happens in the past, I am giving value to a memory, to an image. When I experience what is going on, I am giving the value to the experience. So the thing is, what are we experiencing? Are we experiencing the image of the future, of feeling that we cannot control the outcome, which is equal to feeling anxiety? Or are we connected to the experience, which is there is nothing to do right now, just to stay here? This is when somebody says this is boring. It is boring because you prefer the image. You prefer something that is or either in the past or either in the present, or you are thinking and you are watching the TV of your thoughts. So, why am I posting today this? Because this is your power. And your power is I am resenting this. I am feeling the feeling of, the taste is bitter. I'm feeling the feeling of the past. For example, you get divorced and you are dealing with the situation, who will see the kids, when, how, if there is something, agreement. Now, once you are experiencing the moment that you are at home with the animals, with your kids, with yourself, we bring the image of what happens in the past, of what someone told you, of what you disagree with, and that becomes the experience. So we are lacking the acknowledgement. So the video that we are recording, then we are watching it after we have recorded it. And that's what we give value. I am on the motorway, someone sees me and he shows me the middle finger. And I say, what? That's rude. He's disrespecting me. And I go to the office and I say, you know what happens? This. And I go to my house and I speak to my partner, babe, this happens to me. And I call my father and again. So 10 hours bringing to the present a past recording, the image I had on the motorway, plus the value, plus the meaning, plus the interpretation of it. So now I am sinking into the memory. Therefore, tomorrow when I'm driving on the motorway, guess what? My attention is who is going to show me the middle finger again. Just placing the car on the motorway will bring the image again. That is the cycle of resentment, of feeling guilt, of blaming. Another example. So I'm into a divorce right now with my partner, and she says something or he says something I don't agree with. Instead of feeling the feeling of the disagreement, to choose if we want to carry the bag of the stone or we just want to drop it down. Why? Because it makes no sense to lose the experience. If I am present, I can see the intentions I have in the game. I will not focus on what she wants or what he wants. I will focus on my intentions. So maybe I am feeling revenge. I want him or she to pay because she cheated. because now she's leaving the relationship, because she's in a better situation than the one that I have. So I can see my intentions. The game here is when we don't blame, we bring ourselves to the source. When we don't judge, we are experiencing the experience. There is no clouds in the middle. There is nothing to eclipse and disrupt what is going on. So the invitation here is we don't want to understand, we want to know. And we know when we experience. We know when we are into the experience. We are owning the experience. Let me stop here. If you are in the sea and you and I we are fishing, yeah? So the hook that I will use to bring what I want to hook will be the type of the language, the jargon, the way I spell the language in the ocean, which is you, I will bring what I want. So I'm trying to hook from your infinite source of knowledge and peace and love and light. I want to bring to the present the light because I'm far from it. We remember we go to the light to see the light. We cannot take distance and pretend to have light. So the language we use, when someone says be responsible, it might hurt your feelings because you are denying, because the ego is there. And sometimes the ego will not allow us to feel the sense of humility because it thinks we are weak. It confuses respect with weakness. It confuses humility with weakness. So the ego will repel any single intention to be humble, grounded, to come to the earth. Remember, if we align with gravity, we are safe. So when I'm trying to hook from the ocean, which is you, I'm fishing, I want to bring the light and the peace. Let me use the language. So if I want to change being responsible, because sometimes I have been in the situation where someone says, you are not taking responsibility, and boom, the nails are out. Have you seen a cat or a dog when they are eating and you just come close and it's just, don't even try. So if you don't want to feel that way, let's use a different language. I invite you to say, I want to acknowledge. When you use the word acknowledge, you will feel calmer. You will not feel that something is provoking you. So I will say, I want to acknowledge the feelings I am experiencing. I will own them. I will accept them. So if I'm feeling jealous because you have more money, you are much more handsome or beautiful, I will own the feelings. I want to acknowledge them. Now, when I'm kind of like operating the situation, now you become a doctor and you want to make a serious operation. First, you want to see the whole field, the context. Where is this coming from? You want to assess and address the root of what is happening. In fact, that's your target. So we want to see our intentions. If we are distracted, if we are out of the light, or if we are close. Remember, the way I speak, the love, the kindness I have with myself, I will project it outside. So if I see and I recognize that there is an energy of jealousy, I will still continue to hook. I want to acknowledge. Now, it's a large change, which from jealousy, it comes from my self esteem. It comes from the sense of lack, of needing, of feeling less. I am hooking. I want to acknowledge. I want to acknowledge. What happens? We preserve when you want to do an operation. I guess we will try to have everything available. The accurate tools, we have the knowledge that will back our service. It's the place where we can do the operation. And also, we have subtle uh, uh, mm, mm, additional resources if something happens. So let's create this when we are operating with ourselves. We bring the compassion to understand that we are human and ignorance is granted. We bring the love to understand that that's the source. It was covered, and we are operating the root to allow the flow to go again. Okay? Then we understand that if I'm operating someone and I have a loud environment, there is a distortion. There is a paradox with the situation. When we want to read, we extract ourselves to a place where silence is available. When we want to sleep, we extract to ourselves. The bed sheets are clean, dark is granted. So we will extract ourselves and build the environment where we can swim into the ocean with safety. That's love. Love will bring us that sensation. Okay? Compassion will be the tools we are using to operate. The language, which is how we want to dive in without punishing ourselves, that will be the environment. For example, I'll give you another one. You are experiencing the experience and you are thinking, my ex is dating another person. As a friend told me, I went for a walk recently and she said he might be giving her all the good intention that he didn't give me. He might be now traveling with me. There was always an excuse. And now he's traveling. He's doing things with her. So I listened and I said, okay, let's bring ourselves to the place where we can kind of provoke a connection. So when we want to do meditation, I guess you will not go to the pub, you will not go to the club. Why? Because it's not a proper environment where you can connect and materialize your intentions. So I invite my friend to say, listen, are you tasting the source of just thinking like this? That's the hook. We get very, very trapped with the feeling of the victim because we are unconscious and because we have lost the sense of power. So, because I've lost the sense of power, my attention is shifted. Now, I need someone to come to me and stay close to me with sympathy because there's nothing I can do. So I said, wow, imagine this person right now is having a wonderful glass of wine. He's joking, he's smiling, he's kissing, he's traveling, and you are here enjoying the juice of this by choice. Do we want to acknowledge I was inviting her to be responsible? But because she was in a position of feeling sensible, so I didn't want her to eclipse and disrupt the operation. Remember, when I just mentioned acknowledge, the face changed. There was silence. You are inviting with being kind and with love and the compassion to understand that she's not stupid because she's thinking like this. She's trapped as a human. Now, this can be done by any one of us. Sorry, there's a lot of noise. It's windy today. This can be done by any one of us, only if we choose to do it. If we choose to do it, we can get there.